Snack has played a huge part in my training camp. The protein, the ZMA, everything, the pre-workout, it's played such a major part in my training camp, keeping me healthy, keeping me recovered, keeping me feeling good, strong, and ready for my next workout.
Hey everybody, Marcos Villegas here in Los Angeles, being joined with the WBC super middleweight champion of the world, Anthony Dirrell, who fights David Benavidez, coming up on this Fox pay-per-view September 28th at the Staples Center. Anthony, man, welcome to LA. It's a nice, beautiful day. You're facing David Benavidez, a man that held the belts before you. You know, overall, what did you make of David in that last fight that he had in Dallas against J. Leon Love?
I mean, it was what he needed to do. He did what he needed to do for sure. He got J. Leon out of there, and impressive stoppage. So and he moves on to a championship fight, and that's what it's about, moving on.
Did you see anything in that performance and in the other performances that kind of sticks out to your mind and it makes you think, he presents an interesting challenge, or that thing that he does is interesting? I want to see how I can respond to that.
He's just a young bull. He's gonna come forward. He's 22 years old. And he's going to come forward and bring the fight. And I'm expecting that. I'm not expecting nothing less for him. We're going to make an interesting fight for the fans for sure.
You were at one point in his position, young, hungry, wanting to prove something. You know, take me through that mindset. You know, what is it that you feel that he's really thinking about this fight and the emotions that he has coming into this fight, you think?
I just know I'm the best opponent he faced yet. From Medina to when he won a championship. I'm still the best opponent he's facing, and he got to work hard to come and get this belt, and I don't think he can do it. You know, he can't work harder than I can. I've been in the game longer than he's been born. I've been in the game 25 years. He's 22, so I got a couple tricks up my sleeves. They call him the I can't even.
Red flag?
And not even the red flag. He's the boogeyman in the division, and I'm a ghostbuster. I'm gonna put him in some traps.
You know, speaking of the actual fight, like, how do you mentally see the fight? Do you think it's gonna be a long, drawn-out fight where it's extremely close, or do you see it another way?
Like I said before, I'm going for the knockout. That's what I say in all my fights, and I know he is, and he looks for it also. He'll tell you the same thing. But if a knockout doesn't happen, I can go 12 rounds easy. I go 15 to 20, 24, whatever you want to do, I can do that, and I'm ready to do it.
We haven't really seen David too frustrated in fights. He's usually had his way with his opponents. Like you mentioned, he comes forward, relentless style, a lot of pressure, throws a lot of punches. You know, is there something you can do to throw him off, or do you think that will bother him a lot?
I mean, I don't think he's seen nobody like me. I'm different from any opponent that he fought. He's fought people that he was supposed to beat, and that was a thing. But me, I'm coming to fight. You gotta. If you're gonna get it, you gotta take it. You gotta beat me bad, because I'm still gonna come, even if you're beating me.
Oh, David's a guy who's brash, talks a lot of ish. What do you make of that side of him? Because I know with his other opponents, he really tries to get into their heads, and he talks a lot. You know, he backs it up, but he talks a lot.
I mean, I don't think he's done as much talking this time. I think he's, said stuff here and there as a fighter is supposed to. He's supposed to be confident, but I don't think he said as much because he knows what's in front of him. But like I say, we're going to put on a tremendous show for the fans. At the end of the day, the fans will be winning.
Your last fight was in Minnesota against the Turkish fellow Yildirim.
Yeah.
How have you been since that fight, and what do you want to do differently compared to that fight to this one?
I mean, that fight, I've been good. I mean, I'm the world champion. I have to be good. But it just whatever we work on in the gym, especially for this guy, he's a little bit taller than Yildirim, and I expect we go in there with our game plan and execute that game plan.
You got a new scar, I saw, because of what happened in the fight.
Definitely. I mean, it's boxing. You're going to get scars, you're going to get bumps, you're going to get bruises, but you keep fighting at the end of the day because you love the sport.
Were you happy with how that fight turned out and the way you looked?
Well, not happy with one of the judges' scorecards, definitely not, but...
Was it mine, was it?
Yeah, huh?
Was it mine, was it?
No, it was the guy, the judge from Germany. He had him up 7 rounds, I think, and it was ridiculous. But at the end of the day, I got the victory, and that's all that matters. Water under the bridge. I'm moving on to David Benavidez on the September 28th, and I'm looking forward to it.
7 rounds? I remember that fight. I didn't know it was getting close, but not 7 rounds.
And really, I don't even think it was close. You got to understand, I outlanded him by probably 100 punches or more. Like 7 rounds. I mean, him even in there, he wasn't even hitting me with most of it. I guess the aggressiveness, the judges like that. But like I say, it'll be a different me in there come fighting David Benavidez. You got to be different. You got to make changes, and I'll make them changes.
What do you think is his biggest weakness, David?
I'm not for sure. That's what me and my coaches have to study in camp and go from there. We have to work on the stuff he's weak at and really go from there.
You mentioned that David's going to be the best fighter that he will face. I mean, the other way around. You are the best fighter that David will face, but flipping it, do you think he's the best fighter you face, or you face better fighters?
I don't. I think, I had a lot of good fights. you got to understand, I had Badu Jack, who was a multi-world champion. I had Sakio Bika. I had Antonio Rubio. I fought a lot of good fighters, but I can't even say he's not, because I don't know until I get in the ring with him. It all depends on what happens on the 28th.
Outside of you two, who do you think is the other top super middleweight in the division?
Me.
You? No, other than you and David, who's the other one?
Me.
Just you. Just you. You number one. You.
I'm not gonna say somebody else is.
You're the champ. Of course, you're gonna say you.
But it's a lot of good guys. You got Billy Joe Sanders, who moved up to 68, and Canelo Alvarez, who won a belt from guys know who that guy was. You got Callum Smith. You got Caleb Plant. You still got a lot of people at 168, and everybody's making noise. Everybody want that mega fight.
What do you make of Billy Joe Saunders and Chris Eubanks Jr. being in the division? And what's your take on them in terms of like the kind of challenges they present to you and the others?
It's a good fight. Billy Joe Sanders is a boxer, a pure boxer, and you can crush anybody with boxing style. Chris Eubank is coming to knock you out. Simple as that. If he can't knock you out, and you get him in the deep waters, it'll probably be trouble. But he's still going to give you problems with his power.
All right, hey Anthony, man, thank you so much. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you come a few weeks here at the Staples Center for your fight against David Benavidez. Right here, Anthony Dirrell defending his 168-pound title against David Benavidez, September 28th at the Staples Center on pay-per-view.